Can you die from that?
This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build your online presence. Ahsoka is here and I really couldn't be less excited, except for the fact that we can have fun ripping it apart. When starting a new series, it's important to make sure you do a good job setting up the characters and story, because it's pretty important to have the audience like your characters and be invested in the story. Growing an audience should be a priority. Disney's Ahsoka does neither of these things. And who's shocked? Who would have thought that handing the once all-dominating Star Wars over to an inexperienced director who had only directed cartoons would turn out a hollow, boring show full of flat, one-dimensional characters? Yes, of course, I'm talking about the cowboy hat-wearing, idea-stealing joke that is Dave Filoni.
Take that ridiculous thing off.
We have to thank a lovely viewer for that joke. Dave Filoni, the guy who doesn't have one original idea in his body. Well, he did have one original idea. That was Ahsoka. And we are going to be paying for that for years to come. Because Dave Filoni's main goal and only talent is pushing his own mid-level characters. Now, I understand that some people think Dave Filoni has done some great work in the cartoons. Well, that's great, but I'd like to aim a little bit higher in directorial and writing talent than the guy who's directed some drawings. Because even after all the crap we've endured, it still is Star Wars, which used to mean something. Christ, less than 10 years to go from $2 billion movies to a bland show that no one cares about, made by a cartoon boy. Well done, Kathy. And somehow you're still not fired. It amazes me that so many people think that moving from animation to live action is a natural step for a director. Well, Dave Filoni's proving that it isn't.
Well, Kanan, I like to call Kanan the cowboy Jedi.
The main job of a director is to make sure the story is being captured through the visuals, dialogue and performance. While it's accepted that those three skills can be of a much lower standard when we're talking about animation, live action, and I'm talking good live action, requires more believable dialogue and believable performances, subtle differences in how a line is delivered.
I love you.
I know.
Or the choice of expression can make or break a scene. Characters in animation, their expressions are always exaggerated and very limited, while humans have 1,000 different ways to express the same lines through voice, expression and movement. The trouble is, no one told Dave Filoni that. Every scene in Ahsoka has the same depth of one of his cartoons. Lifeless, expressionless, with horrible pacing. And on top of that, the action is terrible. The bonus of doing action scenes in animation is that you can easily speed up a scene if it's looking too slow. We as humans don't connect with the animated movements, so speeding it up doesn't look strange. That all changes with live action. You can't just speed it up in post. You need a good performance, good direction, and good editing. The live action Ahsoka feels like it is playing at 3/4 speed. It's bloody coma-inducing. Now, to be fair, George Lucas wasn't the greatest director of all time, but he surrounded himself with people that knew what they were doing when he filmed the original trilogy, including the cast, who have often joked that George's only instruction was, let's do it again, faster and more intense. We could use some of that direction in the Ahsoka show. But luckily for George, the cast had good chemistry and knew what to do.
I like this. If only we can get some of the dialogue altered.
Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill have said they often asked George if they could change lines during filming, while Carrie Fisher took it upon herself to rewrite parts of the script to improve the, shall we say, more awkward dialogue. George was even smart enough to remove himself from the director's chair for Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Revenge of the Jedi.
And we all had to experience the outcome when George came back and worked with less experienced actors. Not great.
Now that I'm with you again, I'm in agony.
But George always had great vision and ideas. Unlike Filoni. Filoni's direction is some of the driest, most uninspired and lacking in imagination I've ever seen. The actors, and I use that term loosely, especially for the ones who are only getting work because they're sleeping with Obi-Wan Kenobi, the actors are delivering lines like it's an early morning rehearsal read-through, and none of them have had any coffee yet. And physically, Dave Filoni must think that crossing your arms is a super cool pose because our main three boss chicks are doing it constantly. Dave, the work experience director, is too stupid to realise that standing with your arms crossed is seen as a negative pose. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what the experts say. Crossing your arms can be a sign of stress or insecurity. People may also cross their arms when they feel low self-esteem. It's a sign of anger and defensiveness. It can also be a sign for determination or arrogance. It's suggested that people who wanted to display power or confidence should avoid crossing their arms, as it may make them seem more cocky than self-assured. And that's the problem with the whole bloody show. Our main three power women just come across as smug assholes from the get-go, especially Sabine.
Where is she?
I don't know. She was just here.
Where did she go?
I don't know where she went.
When we meet Sabine, she is blowing off the stiffs like a real rebel wild child with about as much authenticity as the embarrassing scooter gang that worked for Boba Fett. She even got the badass rock score. Which is a pathetic choice for Star Wars.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Our wild child here is sticking it to the man by not attending a memorial for her dead friends. What? Blowing off a memorial for your dead friends is not cool. In fact, it's pathetic. And doing it with the smugness set to overload is not the way to introduce your star who you're meant to care about.
Well, you're missing the ceremony.
Oh, that was today.
The only care I had for her was hoping that someone was going to blast that smug look off her face. Hollywood really needs to stop thinking the way to make strong female leads is to have them act like men, because it doesn't work.
Yep. Well, it's not wrong.
The Lucasfilm creative geniuses really need to put a bit more thought into what does and doesn't translate well from the cartoons to live action, like blinking droids. What's the point of that? And worst of all, this fucking thing. Harrison Dula. If I'm saying that wrong, I don't care. Don't correct me. What a bloody joke. The flying goggles and the leather shorts on her head. It all looks so bloody ridiculous. She doesn't even wear the goggles when flying. Why are they there? What's her normal everyday job? Does she spend her days flying a biplane while dusting crops? But she has to look like that because that's how she looked in the cartoon. And the small cartoon audience is the only audience Lucasfilm has left.
So maybe it's not such a hunk of junk after all.
And the story's bloody straight out of a summer short riding course. Just more MacGuffins and maps.
Star map? Not just any star map.
Maps and MacGuffins with all the same stupidity as the knife map in The Rise of Skywalker. How come no one at Lucasfilm understands how maps are made, what their use is, and they're usually used for locations, you know, that can't move.
The location of the last missing Imperial Grand Admiral.
Not people that can change where they are at any minute. Christ, we've had maps to Luke. Maps to Wayfinders, maps to the Emperor, and now maps to Thrawn.
Thrawn.
That's not possible. Thrawn died at the Battle of Lothal.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
With Disney bleeding money and Star Wars losing fans faster than Dogecoin loses value, you would think that they would want to attract as many people as possible to their newest Star Wars series. But not only was Kathleen Kennedy stupid enough to give Dave Filoni his own show, she also let him run with making it a continuation of a cartoon that finished years ago. A cartoon that few people give a shit about. A quick detour to thank today's sponsor, Squarespace. Now, it's hard to be an individual and stand out from the crowd. Luckily for me, I was assembled from junk, so I always stand out. But even this junkyard robot knows what makes the world go around. Cash.
What are you dreaming, little angel?
Not having a boss. Now, if you want to stand out from the crowd and make your business fly, which of course means bringing in the money, you're going to need a website. Get your own adventure moving by getting that great idea you have in front of the world with an amazing website by Squarespace. You may have an incredible product you want to sell. Maybe it's your talents you want to put out to the world.
Wait. I'm not ready.
Well, with the Squarespace website, you can sell anything to the world.
Anything.
And with all their new features, it couldn't be easier. Things like Fluid Engine, the next generation website design system from Squarespace that brings the ease and freedom of drag and drop designing. So there's no limit to how good your website can look. They have added custom merch, so you can sell merch directly to your fans. All you have to do is upload your design, and Squarespace will take care of the production, inventory, and shipping. You just have to collect the cash.
Show me the money.
And one of the newest time-saving features that I enjoy is video collections. Easily organise your video library and showcase your content right on your own website. You can upload a video or just copy in your video's URL and you're done. You can even set up a members area where you can monetize your content right on your own website. That's money straight to you, my friend. No other website builder can give you all of that. Go to squarespace.com/robothead and try Squarespace for free. And then when you're ready to blast off, use the code ROBOTHEAD and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. See the link below. Go to Squarespace today and tell them RobotHead sent you. Now, on its own, the idea of doing live-action Rebels isn't so bad. It's the fact that Dave Filoni didn't think he needed to set up the story and characters for the much larger live-action audience, which you think would be the obvious thing to do. Many many more people have read the Harry Potter books and the Song of Ice and Fire series than have watched the Rebels cartoon. But when they came to make the movie versions of the Harry Potter books and the Game of Thrones series, they didn't just make it for the people that had read the books, that already know who the characters are. They made them for the broader audience to understand. We all know the Superman and Batman backstory, but every time we get a new version, they take the time to give us that backstory again. How they came to be and what their relationships are to the people around them. James Bond and Mission Impossible are both ongoing stories, but both take the time to establish who characters are and how they relate to each other, so newcomers to the series can enjoy the stories and not feel lost. You see, a good script should be able to do that effortlessly. The Ahsoka show feels like we've started watching towards the end of a series when it's already used up all its good ideas in previous seasons and it's now running out of steam. Feels like we have tuned in just before it's about to get cancelled.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
It really is that limp and lackluster. And the more Disney Star Wars content we get, the more I'm on the Empire's side. Modern Lucasfilm can't dilute Luke's victory over the Emperor quick enough. For some bizarre reason, Disney likes to make all the Republic officers complete assholes. We get the latest example of the opening of the Ahsoka show. Captain Arsehole here is so arrogant that he not only stupidly invites what is obviously an enemy ship to land on board, where it could just have started blasting away, he also decided to confront the unknown but obviously dangerous guest personally, leaving his crew and ship unprotected from attack.
I'm calling their bluff. I want to meet these Jedi.
I can't imagine other captains being so stupid.
I can do anything for you, Captain.
The two baddies then just start carving their way through the ship and easily make their way to the prisoner they were seeking. They're never confronted with any security droids or blast doors, just some guys that continually shoot at their lightsabers, even when the lightsaber is being held in a stationary position. Oh, what an imagination Dave Filoni has. Another corridor scene just like in Rogue One, but nowhere near as good. Let's compare the joke of an opening in Ahsoka to another time two lightsaber-wielding people were carving their way through a ship. They had to face security droids, battle droids with shields, battle droids they ran away from, I might add, and blast doors.
Close the blast doors! That will hold them.
They even went to the trouble of moving their lightsabers around a bit to deflect the blasts. Another time one of these guys entered a ship uninvited, he got caught.
Ray shields. Wait a minute. How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
Because ships in Star Wars used to have security. These two faced a security guard with flipper hands. Old Quickdraw there would have had his head blasted off before he even grabbed that gun. Truly, Dave Filoni has the imagination of a houseplant. I tell you what, they're getting their money's worth out of that costume. That mask's been used in every bloody show so far. Those aliens are the only ones we see on every planet. They must breed like rabbits.
It's a trap!
So after meeting the only two interesting characters in the whole show, it's off to see Indiana Ahsoka, who was looking for a ball map to lead her to Thrawn. Some cape-wearing droids turn up.
Give it to us.
Why they wear capes is anyone's guess. I mean, thanks to Disney, droids are now virtually human in the modern Star Wars. We then see Ahsoka show off her very slow skills, which are only outdone by how slow she runs. Here's a tip to Lucasfilm. If you're not going to bother hiring an athletic actor for an athletic role, don't have any running scenes, or hire a director who knows how to shoot better action and can mask her dumpy run.
Where were you?
I was keeping the ship at a safe distance.
Ahsoka gets away because the droids are going to self-destruct and take out everything for friggin' miles, which makes no sense as they also needed the map, so blowing it up wouldn't have been any good to them.
Give it to us.
But, you know, this is Disney Star Wars, and the Disney Star Wars fans can't join those two dots. Their brains can't connect the story threads between two scenes. They celebrate every scene as if it's a single event.
I know her from the cartoon. Big explosion, look big.
In my head movies!
We find out Ahsoka's ball work's no good, so Green Monster with the leather shorts on her head suggests that Sabine may be able to crack the code. Apparently she's good at the ball work. Baddies turn up to reenact a Darth Maul scene. Sabina cracks the code by turning the ball just half a turn. Shit, even the robot couldn't work that out.
The device is locked, and the key to activating it has eluded me.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it.
Baddie robots turn up to show how slow and weak they are. You think that a droid with self-destructing power to flatten a city might be strong enough to crush her like a grape. But no, apparently Sabine has super strength, which is confirmed a few minutes later when she gets run through with a lightsaber. Yes, it's hard to believe it's happened again, but this episode ends with another person surviving getting run through with a lightsaber. And I thought Finn getting a lightsaber off the back, hard enough to knock him down and knock him out, and Kylo copping one to the face was stupid. Little did I know just how far Disney was prepared to go to destroy anything good about Star Wars. We have somehow gone from Qui-Gon melting blast doors and tragically dying from a lightsaber strike to multiple people surviving their internal organs being melted away. Don't worry about modern Lucasfilm not understanding lightsabers, or Star Wars in general. They don't bloody understand how fucking heat works, or how internal organs are packed in. I swear to God, people at Lucasfilm must be like when primary school kids draw the human body, and they separate all the organs into different sections of the body. They're packed in there, you fucking idiots.
You're gonna be okay!
Wait. You need my help.
Death should really carry some weight in a story. It should mean something. The scene and final shot in any other show would only imply that the person was killed. But in Star Wars, we all know that's not going to happen. We all know that she continues on in the series. So what was the purpose of pretending to kill her? It literally meant nothing.
I heard your repairs were complete.
Blondie escaping because Ahsoka came in blasting or joined in the fight would have been more exciting, and we would have ended up with the same result. But no, we are dealing with Cartoon Boy, who is used to working in the Lucasfilm bubble and only knows how to recycle the same scenes over and over again, even if they make zero sense to the story or create logical problems. Problems like expecting an audience to accept for the fourth time that frying someone's internal organs is just a minor injury. The only place this type of idiotic writing would be accepted is in a Scooby-Doo episode, and Star Wars shouldn't be treated like Scooby-Doo. Star Wars deserves better than some hack cartoon creator.
Well, Kanan, I like to call Kanan the Cowboy Jedi.
Oh, no! Oh, what the fuck? Oh! What? Can you die from that?